You can sit in a crowded room and still feel completely alone, and the strange part is that nothing around you has to be actually wrong for this feeling to appear. People are talking, laughing, moving around you, but inside your mind there is a quiet sense that you are slightly separated from everyone else, like you are behind glass that no one else can see. This experience is more common than people realize, and psychology explains it in a very specific way. Loneliness in a crowd is not about the number of people around you, it is about how your brain is processing social safety and emotional connection in real time. Your brain is not just observing people, it is constantly predicting whether you can be emotionally safe with them. If it decides that being fully yourself might lead to rejection, misunderstanding, or embarrassment, break time equals 05s, it automatically creates distance, even while you are physically present. This is why you can talk to someone, even smile, even have a full conversation, and still walk away feeling empty. Because part of you was never fully in the interaction. It was monitoring, adjusting, and protecting itself. Over time, this becomes a habit that you don't even notice. You start editing your personality before you even speak. You choose safe answers instead of honest ones. You laugh at things that don't really affect you. You hold back opinions that feel slightly risky. Not because you are fake, but because your brain has learned that emotional safety sometimes requires self-suppression. Psychologically, this is a learned protective pattern. The brain is shaped by past social experiences. If at some point in your life being open led to rejection, break time 05s taught criticism, or emotional discomfort, your nervous system stores that experience as a rule. That rule becomes something like, don't fully expose yourself, it's safer to stay slightly hidden. And the brain follows this rule automatically, even in situations where it may no longer be necessary. This is where the deeper mechanism comes in. Your brain is not reacting to the present moment alone. It is constantly predicting the future based on the past. So even in a safe environment, it may still expect emotional risk. This prediction system is part of how humans survive socially, but it can become overactive. When it does, it creates a mismatch between external reality and internal experience. On the outside, you are surrounded by people. On the inside, your brain is preparing for disconnection. Break time equals 05s. That mismatch is what we experience as loneliness in a crowd. This pattern also explains why some people feel exhausted after social interaction, even when nothing bad happened. Their nervous system has been in a constant state of subtle self-monitoring. Every sentence, every reaction, every facial expression is being adjusted in real time. This uses mental energy. So even normal conversations can feel draining if your brain never fully relaxes into them. To understand this better, imagine your mind has a filter running in the background during every social interaction. That filter constantly asks, is this version of me acceptable here? If the answer feels uncertain, the filter becomes stricter. You begin presenting a more controlled version of yourself. The more controlled you become, the less real connection you feel. Break time 0.005s. Because real connection requires emotional visibility, not just social performance. There is also another layer to this. Humans are wired for emotional resonance, not just presence. Your brain has systems that detect subtle emotional signals like tone, authenticity, and responsiveness. When those signals are missing or when you are not fully expressing yourself, your brain does not register the interaction as deeply connecting, even if it looks socially normal from the outside. That is why attention from others is not the same as connection. You can be noticed, responded to, even included, but still not feel emotionally met. The cycle becomes self-reinforcing. The less connected you feel, the more you protect yourself. The more you protect yourself, the less visible you become emotionally. And the less visible you become, break time 0.05s, the more isolated you feel, even in spaces full of people. This is not a personality flaw. It is a feedback loop in the brain's social prediction system. Breaking this pattern does not start with forcing yourself to be more social. It starts with understanding what your brain is doing. Small moments of honesty are enough to begin changing the pattern. When you express something slightly more real than usual, even in a small way, your brain receives new evidence that being visible does not always lead to negative outcomes. Over time, this slowly adjusts the prediction system that was creating emotional distance in the first place. Another important shift is noticing where you are performing instead of simply being. In many social situations, people unconsciously switch into performance mode. Break time equals 05s, where they manage impressions instead of experiencing the interaction. This creates a split between your internal state and external behavior, and that split is one of the main sources of loneliness in social settings. Real connection feels different because it requires less internal monitoring. You are not constantly adjusting yourself. You are not rehearsing responses in your head. You are simply present. And in those moments, even silence does not feel empty. Because your nervous system is not in protection mode anymore. The important thing to understand is that this form of loneliness is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is usually a sign that your brain has become very good at protecting you socially, but protection that never turns off eventually starts to feel like distance. And that distance is what you experience as being alone, even when you are surrounded by people. So when you feel that quiet emptiness in a room full of people, it is not necessarily because you do not belong anywhere. It may be because a part of your mind has not yet learned that it is safe to fully arrive in the moment without preparing to leave emotionally.